So some of the challenges I've heard from not having enough time to do all their projects, course and college class and college time. How many of you are experiencing these things? Just go ahead and raise your hand. Right up here at the top. Okay. All right, well, I'm glad that things seem to be, you seem to be managing them. Oh, there's one. Good for you. There's one. Thank you very much. Yes, time is an issue. In some ways, COVID has given us more time in the sense that we're staying at home. There's fewer places to go, fewer things to do. The commute time is going from one room in your house to another rather than a 5, 10, 20, 30-minute drive across Ireland. But with that extra time, sometimes we don't really know which way to go. So I'm going to try to give you some tools in this presentation and some ways to think about time that might help. So one of them is, especially if you come from high school, deep understanding. They're looking for bigger problems. All of that takes time. And if you haven't heard this before, the rule of college hours, for every hour of class that you spend, you should be spending at least 1 to 2 hours of prep time outside of class. That may be different than what you did in school. In high school, you may have been able to juggle the family chores, maybe a job, going to school, being in the band or affiliated in organizations and churches. But now your college is biting into your time. By the way, 168 hours are the number of hours in a week. We can't get any more. We can't roll them back. We can't steal them. We can't buy them. There's 168 hours in a week. That's it. It's finite. So we have to fit in everything we're doing in those 168 hours. And that includes sleeping, eating, shopping, keeping the house clean, taking care of the kids' work, going to school, commuting, being with friends and family, cooking, all of those things. 100 hours is all you get. So if you look at that, a work week is 40 hours. So to do well in college, you need to be spending the equivalent almost of a full-time job. Full-time job. The rule of thumb in college is if you work, you should not be working more than 20 hours a week because you are committed to all the college prep. And another thing that is important in your life are the roles in your life. Your students, some of you are workers as well. Some of you are partners. Some of you may be parents. You also have a role in your family. And all these roles take a part of your life. And they're important. So this is a little exercise you can get to. And if that means that you are a bicyclist, or you are in a choir or a band or some other activity, learning an instrument, playing an instrument, all of that is a role. So write them all down and then think about how much of your time are you spending as a student? How much are you spending in a percentage to be a worker? How much with your on raising the kids or caretaking someone in the family? And how much is the family obligation taking? And once you've figured out all the percentages, then make yourself a great big circle and make a pie graph. That will give you an overview of how you're spending your time. It won't be very specific, but you will be able to see what you're devoting time to. And be very honest, because you need to know what's happening with your time if you're going to manage it. So now that we know we have to fit all this in 168 hours, how are we going to do that? Well, as a help, this is something that's called the STEM, S-T-E-M, transfer time donut. And I'm being very specific because when you go looking for it on the web, lots of things will pop up, including donut stores all over the United States. So put in the STEM time donut or STEM transfer time donut. Now, what is this crazy thing? Well, it's kind of grayed out, but this is a great big circle, and it is an interactive circle. So I usually take the students through it. We don't have time today, but you can go looking for it. Picked up the link. How many hours out of that 168 are you spending on going to class, doing homework, possibly internships? How much time are you spending on study and review? So if you want to think about that daily, then multiply it by 7. But you should figure out how many hours a week you're doing that. And then work. Whoops. Sorry about that. How much time are you working on or off campus? This one is all about taking care of you. So this includes meals, meal preparation if you do it, grocery shopping, exercise, showers, relaxation. And here's a big one, sleep. Especially now in COVID, when we're all somewhat stressed, you need to be getting enough sleep. 7 to 8 hours is recommended every single night for your body to stay in good shape. Most of the time it's even 6. 6 is cutting it a little short, but when they tell me, I do get concerned, because if you do that night after night after night, it will take a toll on you physically, and that will then impact your ability to think and your ability to stay in a calm and balanced state. So you really do have to pay attention to sleep. And this is often what gets sacrificed when you're doing everything else. That's what makes that. Also, the personal stuff. Are you involved in clubs and organizations? That's probably not a lot of time right now because a lot of our activities are curtailed. But it's still you still may be involved in some, maybe online. You also need to think about the time you spend with family. Is entertainment. And that is another one that can soak up a lot of time. How much time are you on your phone? How much time are you on social media? How much time are you gaming, surfing, the web? How much time are you spending on entertainment, whether it's Netflix or other ways that you amuse yourself? How much time are you doing that? I've had students tell me, I don't know if I believed it, that they can spend up to 10 hours on their phone. If you are spending that kind of time on your phone doing various things, it's going to be very hard to fit everything in to 168 hours. The last one on the bottom of this slide is commuting. And commuting is all the places you go. Right now, commute time has been cut back because we aren't going to campus. We aren't necessarily going out to a lot of different places because they've been locked down to us. But commuting is a part of it. My dog's going to make a little noise because my husband's bringing back the hotspot. So she just greets him. That's what that noise is. So once you figure out, because this is going to move, when you put the hours in, this is going to open up and fill. And then you will find out whether you are staying within, within the 168, or if you are exceeding it. Sometimes people find they have a little window of time, and they might have 3 hours, 14 hours, 10 hours, maybe more. I think 14 is about the most I've ever seen. And so you will then want to know, where are those hours? So in the next slide, this is a grid. You can find them easily. And what you're going to do here is you're going to actually enter all the things you do during the week. First, you put in the things that you must do. You put in the have-tos, the things that are scheduled, like your classes, like your work schedule. Maybe if you're a parent, you have to put in getting your kids up, putting them to bed. And maybe you're having to cram in helping them with school too right now. So all the things that are scheduled and you know happen regularly, that's what goes first. Then you start adding in the other things, like when you do your chores, when you shop, when you go to the washateria, when you involve yourself in church or other activities, put those in as well. Once you get it on your sleep, put when you go to sleep, when you get up. When you get it all in your meals, that also should go in here. Once you get it all in there, then you may find that you have a little pocket of time somewhere. We do have less classes on Thursday and Friday, so you may find out you have a pocket of 2 hours or 3 hours right here on Thursday that you didn't really realize was there, but now you see it. Now you have 2 hours that you can plan to do something with. That may be relaxation. It might be that you move, that's where you do your chores or washateria or shopping, but now you can plan for it. It doesn't just happen to you and then you're like, what am I going to do? Well, then we need to talk about prioritizing. This comes from Sean Covey, who is the son of Stephen Covey, who wrote a very influential book, The Successful Habits, Seven Habits of Successful People. It's a very good book to help you really understand how to use habits to make yourself successful. So there are 4 quadrants. This one, number 1, these are things that we don't control. These are important things. They're urgent. They can't be ignored. So there are always going to be things like that happen. The car breaks down. Someone in the family gets sick. You get sick. You get called into when you want. We have to leave time for them. But there are a few things that land here that we have a little bit of control over, because things fall here if it's stuff we put off, if we procrastinate, if we wait to the last minute to study, then we may miss sleep. And you might be late for work because you're just plain tired. We want to account for them in better planning and better use of time. This quadrant is the important one. These things are urgent, important, but they are not urgent. There's no timeline on them, but these things really matter. They're not pressing, but you need to organize for a big project, set a timeline, and I'm going to show you some some online tools later. You also need to plan when you're going to do maintenance for yourself, your family, friends, your house, your car. All of that is important, but not necessarily urgent. Now, if you can utilize this quadrant well, you're going to feel more in control of your life. You're going to find the best is going to lead to higher performance. So it is important too to spend time with family and friends so your mind can relax and your body can relax. So this is the really important one that you should be thinking about how you can spend more time here. Now, quadrant 3, these things are unimportant, but they're often urgent, at least urgent to somebody else. So these are things we do to please others. This usually has to do with other people's drama. You know, the last minute, you gotta help me thing. But it's also unimportant phone calls you don't need to necessarily take at that moment, and any kind of interruption happening to all of us right now because we're home. We're accessible, and so people are asking us to do things. They're asking us to jump in and they're asking us to watch siblings or our older folks in the home. So these are interruptions. Now, number 4, we need to really stay out of here. These are things that are unimportant and they're not urgent, but we often spend time here. So this is where, when we looked at the time donut, this is where that entertainment piece falls. And be honest with yourself. How much are you on the phone? How much are social media? How much time on TV? I know Netflix has become very popular because we're all home. We're looking for something unimportant, not urgent, is spending too much time on things that take us away from our goals. So this goal setting up here lets you know what you're aiming for, what your future desire is, and what kind of, think about spending time on something. Stop to think, is this going to take me toward my goal? Is this going to help me do better in the things I want to do? Or is this going to take me away? And maybe that will help you make better choices about how to use time. And this one catches a lot of our students. You are home, and this is making it a little more intense right now. But your families have come to depend on you. And maybe in high school, you had time to juggle all that. Working, going to high school, being in organizations and activities at school, and also taking care of chores or working to support the family. But now you're in college. Now you need to be spending 24 to 36 hours at a minimum to be ready and do well in your classes. And you're also only got 168 hours. So sometimes having a heart-to-heart with your family about what is on your plate can help them rearrange and understand how to better flow with your college degree. I have a lot of students that are very, very anxious about their family obligations, but also having enough time to do well and that need to be discussed. That's kind of part of this quality up here, this quadrant 2. So think about this. Check out Sean Covey. He's got a lot of interesting things to say. So we're going to go through these rather fast. These are syllabi. Pull your phone out. Put in every date you can find. The syllabi should have some due dates, some exam dates. And when your professor gives you an exam date or a project date, please put it in your phone. Put it in your phone or device, or even a paper planner, but I like the phone because it reminds me. Once you get it in there, then look at what you have to do in a month. Try to plan by semester. The beginning of the semester is always a little bit rushed, then things kind of flow. Then you hit midterm. All midterm was October 7th. In the spring, it's going to be around the first week of March. You're going to get a lot more work right before midterm. Professors are looking for things to grade. They need work so they can evaluate. So you're going to get more. So if you look at that as a semester and you sit down with the folks you live with and say, look, these 2 weeks, I'm going to be slammed. So how can we rearrange things? Maybe it won't work, but it's worth a try, because then everybody see, and so it's coming fast, very fast. If there's a way to delegate more, do that. I'm going to show you a tool about setting up projects and organizing your life. So know yourself. When do you work best? Some people are best in the morning. I'm not. Some people are better in the afternoon or even in the evening or late night. So figure that out for yourself and plan to do your heavy lifting at the time you work best, even if it's not traditional. This is a good rule of thumb, but I put important things for me about mid-morning because I'm a lot more alert by 10 o'clock. Buffer time between tasks and meetings to do some of that unimportant but urgent stuff. And let yourself have a break. Realize if you really need it, because you're going to hit the need to do things. And please do differentiate between the things you need to do and things you want to do. And when people ask you to help or be involved in doing something, stop and think for a minute. Is this something that needs to happen, or is this something that somebody just wants to happen? And then try to have a conversation with them. And right now under COVID, mental health helpers are all recommending that we give ourselves a break. Don't ask longer. Everything takes longer, and it's just not going to be as easy right now. And this part about taking care of yourself is very important. You do need to sleep enough. You do need to eat well. And in the mindfulness session this morning, Dr. Coram reminded us we need to eat in a relaxed way, not on the run. You need to sit down. You need to enjoy your food. You need to be relaxed while you're eating. And then you should do some recreation. You should recreate. So you just have to find a balance between all the things you must do in 168 hours and also relaxation. And then when you get yourself in a good groove, repeat. Just keep moving forward with a routine. And that is one of the things here. And writing things down, putting them in your phone, putting live things together so you know where things are, so you don't have to worry about it, and using your phone for good. Because when you put in a device, you're worrying about your burning energy if you're having to juggle your schedule. Here's one tool I've run across. It's called Toodle-Doo. It works on all devices, and it's a wonderful to-do list element. So Toodle-Doo, it's free. I'm sure you can probably add on features, but the basic package is free. I also use Out of Milk for shopping. I share my lists with my husband, so he does most of the shopping. So when I run out of something, I just put it on the Out of Milk list. I have a list for Kmart, Home Depot, grocery, cost you less, and so he can go to the store and pull that phone out and know exactly what we need to be buying for class. So that's called Out of Milk. This is Toodle-Doo. Here's one called Trello. Trello is a task organizer and teamwork platform. So if you are working on a project, if you are in a group project, this might be a way to go. It is on your phone again. It keeps you from having to juggle all that up in your head, which will leave you more energy and hopefully more time to get on with it. So what's your plan to turn time into a powerful tool that you can control? All right, jump in there. Asonika, do you have any thoughts about this?
Really and truly, I appreciate this. Because I've been struggling with time management lately since the beginning of the month, and I've been paying for it. So this has helped me.
Well, that's good. Someone else, what's one thing you're going to take away from this and try?
Maybe for me the to-do list.
The Toodle-Doo, or figuring out a way to do it on your phone?
Yeah.
I mean, you can put a to-do list in Out of Milk. Out of Milk is free, but they're always, they'll let you add on things. But we use the basic free one, and you can, like my husband and I share lists. That way, I don't have to worry about writing it down or forgetting to tell him. It's right there in his phone. So that's great. Someone else, something you're going to try. Oh, come on, don't be shy. What's something you're going to try?
think I'll try like basically almost think everything you said. I especially like the tables and the time donut that you presented, and then the different options that you presented as well. The Toodaloo, the out of milk, and all of that really is helpful. And it's especially for me. I live with literally my entire family, and we have to share everything. So this was helpful a lot.
Well, that's good, and I do urge you to have some conversations. One of the things most often brought to me when I work with students is this struggle between how to honor their family obligations and also do their best in college. Sometimes your families may not understand how much time it takes to do well in college. It is very different than high school. So sometimes a heart-to-heart with whoever you live with can help everybody. And maybe during those really pressured weeks, some of the stuff you normally do can be done by somebody else. And kind of letting gently your family know your college matters. So if you like more information or you have any trouble getting the time donut, it's not always easy to get. My name is Patricia Towal. You can find me in the directory. My office number listed on the website is active, or you can get me in Teams. Just type in my name and send me a chat, or you can call my P for Patricia, T as in Texas, OWAL at uvi.edu. And I thank you so much for coming. And I would be happy to work with you individually on time management or anything else that you're needing a little support with. So just let me know what you need. Thanks again for coming.